Hey Uncle Pete, so you were right. The amount of settings on this LG G4 were crazy. I think I'm finally starting to get them figured out. The thing that's really weird is you have two different settings when you're in the. Oh, sorry, dog's looking at Claire. So when you're in the game mode, you have the normal dynamic tone mapping, which really seems like it's optimizing daytime performance, brightening things up. But when you're in the evening, you want to do the HGIG. But both times you actually have to set up in the PlayStation the HDR corresponding to the dynamic tone mapping or the HGIG. So I'm going to show you how this differs on this TV versus the Sony that you have. So dynamic tone mapping you could see is on, and the picture is pretty good. It's nice and clear, and I've set the PlayStation for it. If I turn dynamic tone mapping off, or if I go to HGIG, that means the PlayStation itself is controlling everything rather than the TV trying to take the signal and figure out what's going on. So whenever you do that, you want to go into the PlayStation. And I tried to do this last night, but it was kind of a dark video. It's kind of hard to see. But so what you do is you go into video output. You go into HDR. On when supported seems most appropriate. I guess you could have it always on, but if you watch a Blu-ray or 4K, probably not the most appropriate. So you go to adjust this. It's gonna close the game, obviously. And now, if this was at night, you'd want to go to the point where you could just see that, and kind of right where it clips is where people say is probably the best setting. So you could see it there, definitely not barely visible. You should probably clip it right there. And then same thing for this one. You want to go, I could definitely see that, definitely see that. Can't see that one. Right. And then darker, generally at night, you just go all the way down to the darkest. So you have nothing else. But for demonstration purposes, obviously that's not going to work. So I could just barely see that. Right. So let's go back in to Dead Space with HGIG on, and this is what it looked like in the darker reel that I'm going to attach towards the end. So the playability was pretty good. It definitely is a dark game, but I had all the lights out, and I could adjust the brightness a little bit of the screen if I found dark areas were kind of hard to see. But for the most part, I found it pretty enjoyable and actually pretty stressful. In times when they're sneaking up on you, and my heart was definitely beating kind of fast. So it was pretty fun. Then I had my subwoofer and speakers on, so that definitely helped too, kind of filling that. So you could see here, it's definitely darker, much darker than it was a minute ago with dynamic tone mapping on. But at night, what this does is, again, it shuts off the TV, lets the PlayStation determine the color accuracy. Right. So for daytime play, though, I definitely find it's better to use the dynamic tone mapping because it's just not a bright enough game otherwise. And this room is way too bright, unfortunately. So come back in here again. We'll go to HGRG on when supported, and we're going to adjust it. But of course, before you adjust anything, you actually need to go optimizer by hitting the settings menu. And then, pictures. Go to pictures. Still getting used to it. Only had it a couple days this TV. So there's a lot of options on this TV, like crazy amount of options. Compared to my old plasma TV that you just turned it on and it worked. So we'd have to turn that off and or on, but because I want the TV to help adjust the signal and give me a dynamic tone, essentially, right? Dynamic tone mapping, take the signal, convert it into what the TV could actually do for the daytime use. That seems to be what all the other YouTube experts are saying to do. So, and then the funny thing was when I went on to ChatGPT and had it explain the differences between all of this, which I'll clip in as we're talking a little bit too. This is how it said to adjust it. So during daytime use, you actually want to make it, same thing, make it kind of clip out. Like I could actually see it there. I'm not sure if it picks up on the camera, but can't see it there. And then second screen. Yeah, I can't. Well, maybe we'll go back a little bit. No, that's okay. Can't see that. And this one I could see that a little. So I'm gonna make that darker. You just barely see that. Yeah, you just barely see that. I'm gonna go right there so I get better blacks. Okay. And then the funny thing is you still have, of course, the adjustments in the game itself. So say you get in here and you don't like it, which I think at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter if it's 100% accurate because you're not comparing it to anything else in your viewing environment. You're comparing it to your eyes and what you like. So I find at the end of the day, you gotta just adjust it how it's playable and how you like it. So let's get back in here. You can see the black is still quite black. You can't see the trim of the TV. I mean, it's black trimmed, and the black of the game is essentially indistinguishable. So, my point of view, pretty good. Right. But right there, definitely easier to see during the daytime. Now, let's go in and say I don't like it. I'm like, oh, gosh, that was a pain. Well, you can actually just go in and change the brightness right here. So I think I did a good job because I cannot see that image on the left. So if I go one step further from 49 up in the upper right to 50, now you could see that. But I clipped it right before that. But you know, say the game in certain spots was kind of dark, you can still adjust it if you need to. Right there, and then you don't have to go back and forth. But I find if you're in the day, dynamic tone mapping, set it up, clip it out so you can't see any of the circles, the black, same thing, so you can't see the black, and then HGIG at night, and then again, clip it out so you can't see either white screens, and then the black screen, actually put it all the way down to 0 because you are in a black environment and this is a OLED TV, so it should have perfect blacks. So you should be able to get it all the way down to 0, and that seemed to work pretty good. Unfortunately, when I tried to change the settings on the TV, it glared so much on the iPhone that it just didn't look very good. But I'll have that video in afterwards, so you could take a look. But so far, looking good. So I'm glad I got it. Cool TV. Video games is definitely where this thing shines. TV, I'm still playing with those settings, a lot of different settings. I might make another video of just the TV settings for movies. Of course, you gotta be careful what you put on there because so many things have copyright on them that you can't use certain content that you want, like on Disney, of course. But anyways, I'll play a little bit on here just just so you could see how it looks. And this is an awesome scene to see how things look. And you can see, you definitely could see the creatures floating around here, so I'm obviously not doing very well. And I'm going to replay this part, but at least I'll move around a little bit just so you could see the creatures I actually could see, because on my old TV, when they were in the dark, I could hardly see them. So, anyways, that is that. Here's a cool scene. You're walking in and there's dust here. Lights above you. As you look at that light, it's like I can hardly even look at it. That's crazy how bright that is.
difference in